That's right. Welcome to the War Room. I'm your boy Dev of War Room Sports. This is Chase of War Room Sports, and we want you guys to take a look at episode 179 of the War Room podcast. In today's episode, we talk about Kobe Bryant being out again, blow for the Lakers. St. Petersburg, bad coaching in the NBA, the NFL, all across sports. Adrian Broner catching a beatdown. The Cowboys in their December woes. Damian Lillard becoming a star right before our eyes. The Sunday night wager between Philly and Chicago with our guys out in Chicago ranked top 5 sports talk radio. You don't want to miss it. So make sure you take a listen. Leave comments if you want to. But at last, like my boy said, welcome to the War Room.
Blog Talk Radio.
We always here. Welcome to the War Room. We got Dev, Kill, Jimmy, PJ, B. Austin, the Hot Block Commander. How you want it in a 1 or 2 hour show to get the brain running with the premise to talk sports on a national level. Bold with the topic, sort of like the rubber. When it's game time, they like the Fab Five during prime time. Sports conglomerates speak their minds a little bit. For sports medicine and sports veterans and greats. The 4th and 26th, so the war in Kuwait. It's the War Room with 5 nights at the round table. 5 Philly guys, diversified and educated.
All right. What up, everybody? What up, sports fans? Welcome back to your favorite show. You are once again live in the War Room, brought to you by War Room Sports. This is our last show before Christmas, so if you celebrate, Merry Christmas to you. Of course, I'm Devin McMillan, and I'm joined by my co-hosts Jimmy Williams and B. Austin. We got a good show for you today. At the top of the second hour, we'll hear from Jeff Thomas, host of Ranked Top 5 Sports Talk Radio in Chicago, to discuss the Sunday night Bears-Eagles game. I'm not sure if you guys remember, but we made a city-to-city wager the last time these two teams faced off, and we ended up sending the guys at Ranked Top 5 a care package filled with a lot of edible treats from the city of brotherly love. We're not trying to do that this time. We're going to make another wager today, and hopefully we'll be indulging in some Chicago treats this time around. But before we do that, make sure you join us right now in the JW Philly Realty chat room at blogtalkradio.com/The War Room, or join us on Facebook or Twitter at War Room Sports so you can get into the conversation. You can also call us directly when we open up the Digital Extreme Tech hotline at 323-410-0012. Also, be sure to leave a reminder to check out some of our partner shows during the week. Make sure you check out Roy and Chris on the Broad Street line every Tuesday at 6 p.m. on Blog Talk Radio, and check the listings for Brandon and Daniel on Sports Track Radio, now on the iHeartRadio network. But in addition, don't forget to catch us, your boys, in syndication 3 times on Fridays on NewViberadio.com. That's 7 a.m., 1 p.m., and 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and on Sundays and Tuesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern Time on FatsRadio.com. What's good, Generals? The Christmas holiday is upon us. You fellas prepared, or is there any preparation to be had? What's going on?
Yeah, I ain't even gonna hold you, man. I don't even really celebrate that holiday for a lot of reasons, man. Because the holiday ain't about nothing.
What you against the pagans?
Well, I'm not a fan of the pagans, man.
Well, Santa Claus is white though, right? I heard that.
Santa Claus.
I heard that recently on Fox News.
Word. That's Fly Fox.
I can confirm that. Well, for me on Christmas, I'm doing the same thing Bushwick. I'm doing the same thing Bushwick Bill was doing during Halloween. Robbing little kids to that.
I mean, at the end of the day, man, most of these holidays I don't celebrate at all, but it is a chance to spend time with family. Everybody loves to spend time with family and friends. But, in terms of the traditional ways that it's celebrated, man, I don't believe in the commercialization of these holidays. But I do like to spend time with family and friends, so let's keep it positive.
Okay,
I'm not really going to get back and tell you how I really feel.
But you do grab some stuff when it's on sale, though. I mean, for yourself.
I mean, you already know Cyber Monday. I'm in the building.
All right, I was just making sure. So, Jimmy, why don't you...
I take full advantage. I mean, I am an American, man.
You acting like Atlanta, not in America. All right.
They don't give a fuck.
Well, go ahead, Jimmy, and tell everybody what happened this week while they were on that grind.
Absolutely. And for those who may have never heard our show before, sorry to hear that. But while
You're
you're
sick.
on the grind is brought to you by DirecTV.
Fool.
If you'd like a better TV experience than cable has to offer, including the NFL Sunday Ticket, just go to our website, which is warroomsports.com. Click on the DirecTV logo and order a better TV experience at a discounted War Room Sports sign-up rate. In the words of Master P, we got the hookup. At any rate, Ryan Friel's parents say that he had CTE. Now, for those who don't know who this gentleman is, he's a baseball player. And, you know, CTE is usually something we talk about in reference to football. But now we're finding that baseball players are having CTE. It came out that, you know, they're correct. They gave his brain to be studied because the guy committed suicide, you know, with a shotgun. You know what I mean?
Opened
But
his
at
chest
any rate,
right up.
Yeah, he laid the murder game down on himself. But with that being said, he's a baseball player now showing up with CTE. What do you think about this news, gentlemen?
Well,
I think that
in his
oh,
case,
go ahead, Dad.
I was about to say his case is a little different because he's reportedly sustained 9 or 10 concussions during his career. So, you know, it doesn't matter what particular sport you play. If for some reason you got a bunch of concussions, it's going to be likely that, you know, you're going to be stricken with this at some time in your life.
Brandon, baseball, was he playing to get those kind of concussions, though?
Yo, he was playing that
I'm glad
Aaron Rowan type baseball, jumping to a wall with your nose type baseball. Like, how do you
Right.
get 9, 10 concussions? Go ahead, B.
I'm glad you brought that up, though, Jimmy, because the type of baseball that he was playing was the kind where when he got to home plate and he was coming around and the catcher was looking at the ball, he was looking to mow that catcher down. And that's one of the things, one of the steps that baseball, Major League Baseball is taking to sort of preempt what could be coming in terms of class actions, in terms of whatever, is they're outlawing collisions at the plate. So you can no longer collide with the catcher. But I think that it calls into focus the fact that almost all professional sports that have any measure of contact, there's some semblance of risk to your mental health. Like, even though baseball is by far safer than football, it's still a contact sport in some way, shape, fashion, or form. And so shout out to baseball for taking some steps, and may this gentleman rest in peace, and hopefully, you know, we appreciate his parents donating his brain to science so that we can get ahead of this stuff, because we already behind.
Yeah, see, what a lot of people don't realize is that, you know, you don't really have to have, you don't have to have contact to your head. That's not the only way you can get a concussion. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, the whole collision at home plate thing, you hit somebody hard enough, then, you know, a head injury is likely, especially in the case where you suffered a concussion before. Because once you suffer that first one, like it seems like your brain is a little loose from that point on, and I'm speaking from experience here.
Shout out to the members of the War Room with CTE. I ain't gonna call it here. I'm gonna let that.
Man, you could tell by the way I talk, I got CTE. But anyway, I'm not trying to make light of it. Like people think I'm playing. Like I'm dead serious. Like I'm dead serious. Like it seems like once you get that first one, it seems like the subsequent concussions are a little bit easier to get, and you really don't have to get hit directly on your head. So yeah, I feel for this, because this might, you know, it was a whole thing with football, but it looks like, you know, this whole issue might spread across sports, and we're gonna see how that plays out.
What was we talking about?
We see how it plays out.
So you got a relaxed brain, huh? Anyway, man, yeah, I just found it interesting with baseball, like you said, that you don't have to get hit directly in the head. So I'm pretty sure that punter for the Bengals has CTE. With that being said, the 49ers, right? The 49ers and the Seattle Seahawks have an ongoing rivalry. Two of the best teams in football right now this current year, but historically the 49ers have been the better team. They have the 5 Super Bowls. You know some teams like to live in the past. But with that being said, listen to this one. Talk about fans having beefs. The 49ers fans, you know, they actually took up a collection. They came together, they crowdsourced it, and they got enough money. They're going to put a billboard in Seattle with pictures of their 5 Lombardi trophies just to taunt the Seahawks and their fans. I thought it was very creative.
I respect it.
They also say that the behind the 5 Lombardi trophies is going to be famous images of 49er teams of old, like the catch is going to be on it. A couple of other long-standing memories that we all see as highlights from those Super Bowl teams. Yeah, you said you respect it, BL?
I respect it. I love it. I mean, here on our show, we have no-cut cards and spend plenty of time pooping on society, pooping on fans, pooping on social media. This is that one bright story where I feel as though fan engagement this is what it should be. Like, I don't mind this at all. I mean, I think that it's getting into the spirit of the rivalry.
As long as they don't start beating each other up and stabbing each other in the parking lot.
Now, I somewhat agree with you.
Now, that could happen.
I have two different takes on this. Like, I kind of agree because I'm a guy that will sit there and edit a video or a picture just to talk trash for about 10 seconds. So I appreciate the creativity and trash talking. Like, it's nothing better than that. But the one thing is, like, come on with the 5 Lombardis. Like, I also hate fans that, talk about, because most of these fans probably never were around for any of those Super Bowls that the Niners won. You're kind of like doing what Cowboys fans are notorious for doing. You know what I mean?
Well,
we can't get
as of yesterday. Well, we should get past that. There should be a statute of limitations for real. But as of yesterday afternoon, this group raised like over $9,300. So they've been calling the people who run the whole the ad and the billboards and stuff in Seattle. They called them and said they want to keep the ad visible for at least 1 month. But this didn't just start here because they said Seahawks fans bought a brick at the new 49ers stadium, the one that's going to be opening up. And they arranged earlier this month for a 12-man banner to be flown over Candlestick Park. So, so they getting it in. It's war, man. All's fair.
Going drive-bys.
All's fair in sports and war. All's fair in sports and war.
That's all that West Coast tech money going to waste, man. They got money to burn over there. Over here, we can't afford to do that, man. We just tell you to meet us up. Let's just rumble or something. Like, we ain't got money to do that. Flying planes over.
True.
Although if you guys remember, we got contacted by who contacted us and asked us get into that campaign.
It was actually Eagles fans though, but this is something that people would expect from Eagles fans. They were trying to get money together to fly a banner over the stadium to say "Fire Andy Reid," so it wasn't fans against fans of other teams. It was Eagles fans.
We were slandering our own home team.
Yeah,
we wasn't from bread to get rid of our own home team. We trying to get a billboard to say "Fire Andy." Like, forget slandering the opponents. We're slandering ourselves. But anyway, man, I think it's creative. It's dope, but
And remember, we weren't really on that Fire Andy train, but we were sure enough about to sell out for the publicity.
Oh, absolutely.
Y'all gonna put our logo on the billboard? It's all good. It's all good.
I think we talk so bad about fans, and rightfully so, because they deserve it. This is a story that I appreciate, man. Shout out to those fans that did that, and I like the little back and forth that they're doing.
Until y'all get stupid and start stabbing each other, then we're going to take all this back.
That's definitely going to cross the line. They got to take everything back when somebody ends up missing on some criminal mind type stuff.
Y'all start acting like Dodger fans, then it's a problem.
Or how about Houston Texans fans or whatever. But anyway, man, let's talk a little bit about baseball. Let's talk a little bit about Derek Jeter in St. Petersburg, his mansion.
The story ain't really about baseball.
I know it really isn't. But, since we don't talk that much about baseball, I just figured out, somehow throw that in there. Anyway, Derek Jeter says that no phones or cameras are allowed on his estate in St. Petersburg. He's not playing no game. What do you guys think about? First of all, the size of St. Petersburg is out of control.
Yeah, they said it's a 31,000 square foot home. And what they say is, on page 6 of the New York Post the other day, it says, quote, "We're told the famously private Yankee has a basket in the foyer of his 30,875 square foot, multi-million-dollar Davis Island home dubbed by locals, quote-unquote, St. Petersburg. All guests are expected to plunk down their camera phones before entering his castle. He points and says, phones go there. So so no one can take pictures inside his house, says a source. Yo, this is very interesting to me because when everybody talk about the Yankee captain, you know, when everybody has talked about him throughout the years, they talk about how, you know, since he's been single all of this time, he's always been a ladies' man, which he's entitled to do because he probably rightfully so stayed single during his playing career, so he didn't have scandals like the rest of these dudes. However,
like
even as a single dude, he's kept his life so private. Like you don't hear details about Derek Jeter's life. You know he was dating the chick Lala from Friday Night Lights or whatever her real name is. You also knew you didn't know that much, but you heard little stories like when chicks come see him at his apartment in New York, they leave with a gift basket. Who knows what's in that gift basket? I'm assuming that they probably had to sign like confidentiality agreements as a part of this gift basket. Commend this man for keeping his life so private while being a player of all players at the same time. How do you do that?
Yeah,
how do you do that?
Shout out to the captain
he don't want us to know about
because he's doing it the right way. Like he's like a throwback to like the old school. I'm not gonna kiss and tell. Like I'm kissing and she can't tell either. No one's telling. So Lord knows what actually goes
here's the difference,
on. Like
though, the old school Yankees, they fornicated out in the open and everybody knew, and it just was what it was. They didn't have to hide anything.
I don't really mean old school Yankees. When I say player, I'm talking about a
old
different
school
game,
player.
brother.
I respect what you're saying. I'm just saying, like, you know, cats like Babe Ruth. Babe Ruth is fornicating like in the dugout. Like, you just had to accept it.
Well, I mean,
you just had to accept it.
Babe Ruth was getting gonorrhea on the field and pouring penicillin on it. I mean, he didn't care. But
I got a question for you guys, though. I got a question for you guys. If you get invited to a party at Derek Jeter's house, because, you know, at this point that's totally feasible. And you know how everybody's like attached to their mobile device. Like if you come in and he points to the basket and say phones go there, would you leave or would you plunk down your phone and go into the party?
Well, here's the thing. First off, I wouldn't go because I just don't. Any man that's able to keep his life that private, he's hiding something. And so I don't know what's going on in Derek Jeter's house. I'll let y'all tell me how much fun y'all had because I ain't taking no chances, man.
Yo, his basement
you're
is
not,
like
I mean, you're
Saul.
Not
his basement like Saul 9.
You're not taking the burner with you in the Akis, or you just
he ain't gonna let my Akis in the they ain't gonna be able to go.
Probably not gonna let us.
Jimmy, can you take photos with the Galaxy gear?
See, but he he got to look out for that. But it has to be, connected.
I mean, he can't tell me to take my watch off, man.
If you leave your phone on in the basket and it's still,
Yeah, so that means I'm just going in there with the Galaxy gear. And with a long sleeve shirt. So anytime I need to take a photo, it just look like I'm checking the time. I gotta go in a little while, Derek. I gotta pick up my wife. Click. And anything that's going on.
Being as though we look like the intelligent version of Benny Siegel security, I'm not really having no problems. I'm going to tell Jeter, look, Jeter, if you want me to put my phone in the basket, you come take my phone and put it in the basket. Otherwise, I'm walking in your house.
You don't think it's some 7-footers standing at the door enforcing his rules?
Man,
especially in a party atmosphere. Maybe not just in a regular get-together.
He got some Stanleys that are probably willing to die for him just because he's Derek Jeter and he's a Yankee. So,
that's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe I'm not as tough as I think I am.
Yeah, they probably would pick a bullet just for like a bottle of his stinking ass Avon cologne.
So what you said? Yo.
Thank you, Mr.
Derek. Pour Avon on me.
Anyway, man, I got another story I want to ask you guys about. Shaquille O'Neal.
Appreciate it, Mr. Derek.
The royal penis is clean, Your Highness.
Yo.
What happened to Shaq Rosh?
Shaq's ex-wife, Shoni, she's like the reality goddess now. She jumps in, getting her reality show game on. She's a reality show hustler.
I climbed that tree.
She was going to have.
Go ahead.
But she's gonna have a new show, and Shaq put the kibosh on it because he said, "Yo, his kids ain't appearing in that show. Yo, went to court and listen, my kids are not appearing in that show." B. Did you guys hear about the story? What do you think about Shaq?
Yeah, I read about this.
No, go ahead.
I was about to say I read about this whole situation, and when he put the kibosh on it, like she ran straight to court for an emergency order allowing her to put the kids in the show. She tried to convince Shaq that the show is just like the Cosby Show. They said it's going to be good, wholesome, family fun, so it's nothing that's going to put the kids in a negative light. But I kind of understand where Shaq is coming from. I mean, you're responsible for one of the most ratchet shows on TV. That's the reputation that's going to follow you around.
That's your
so even
brand.
if you try to make
that's
this
your
wholesome
brand.
show, yeah, that is the brand, and that's probably the people that's going to be attracted to watching this just because it's her, and they feel that something could possibly happen, in that manner. I probably wouldn't be comfortable with it either if I was Shaq. Even though she is trying to convince him that it's not that kind of show, like B. Austin said, that's your brand right now. So I don't know. If I'm in his shoes, I'm the ex-husband, so I got a right to hate, even if I don't have a really good reason.
That's right.
My damn kid.
I shout out to Shaq. We have our differences. I'm sure he doesn't care that I exist, but he'll know about War Room soon enough. I don't always agree with the brother, like his move to keep the movie out of his theater in Newark, New Jersey. Shout out to Mumia and free him now. But I agree with where he's coming from with this move wholeheartedly, because reality TV, to me, has replaced soap operas. What soap operas were, reality TV has taken that and raised the threshold of ratchetness, disrespect, and depravity by threefold. So I don't care what reality show it is, even if it's a decent reality show, overall the genre is terrible. So I don't care how much Cosby Show you kick in my ear, especially if you're Shawnee O'Neal, who has been asked on reputable talk shows about her portrayal of African-American women, African-American people at large, and she intelligently will give you an excuse. If I'm Shaq,
right.
I want my kids as far away from that as possible, no matter what she says, and I appreciate him laying down the big pop card. Like, I got
Yo,
no
it's
money.
great that you bring that up, B. Austin, because that was one of the things that Shaq said he's leery about. Because of the backlash she was getting, she once proclaimed that she would no longer tolerate violence on the show, Basketball Wives, because it damages the image of black women. However, when the ratings kept coming and that money kept coming, she quickly changed her mind, and all the rumbling and the cat fights and all that kind of stuff just, continued on the show. So she basically sold out for the ratings and the money.
She's a sellout. She's an intelligent sellout. I respect her hustle from a completely, hustle, game-recognized, game capitalist perspective, but she's a sellout. She's a part of the problem as opposed to the solution. And so I can totally feel Shaq falling back on that.
So when we get offered a War Room Sports reality show, you gonna say no on principle?
Absolutely not. I'm on there cooning, shucking, and jiving, but my kids will not be a part of any of it, and they may not even know. I mean, I'm on there with a big time 1970s mustache. They may not even know that I'm B. Austin, but I'm on the show because one monkey don't stop the show.
He said I'm cooning, shucking, and jiving. I mean, I wouldn't think that our reality show wouldn't include ratchery anyway. I don't know. It might include violence, though, and that's what, Shaq was talking about, the violence on the show. It might include violence because I don't like the way some of these fans be talking to me, but,
we going to this.
Neither. I
might have to visit the Navy Yard.
Right now. Now I'm talking about that.
So I don't like the way someone's talking to me. So.
But here's the thing, though, man. At the end of the day, man, I just think that, I'm not a fan of a lot of reality TV. I'm not going to front. I do watch some of it because it makes me feel better about my life. But I personally...
Yo, it's good for your self-esteem.
I personally exist like myself. Listen, myself personally, I exist in between ratchetness and righteousness. And if you don't believe me, just look at my Instagram or Twitter. Like, you know, one moment I'm talking Black Power, the next minute I'm talking about, you know what I mean?
Hey, brother, we are all a walking paradox.
Whose body is banging like a Benzie, you know, stuff like that. So, you know,
we all
it is
paradox.
what it is. But
here's
I
the
do
thing,
respect
though.
Shaq for making a move,
the fact
making a
that
chess
you
move.
can say that there is a polar opposite, there is a righteous side to you. I can't say that for anything that I've seen Shawnee O'Neal produce. Like, this new show may be her attempt to get the righteousness.
This was her attempt, though. Shaq just put the kibosh on it.
Oh, yeah, he put the there it is.
I mean, but, you know, at the end of the day, man, listen, man, Shaq know what he's doing, man. And that's one thing, like, on the low, like, we talk about, you know, the athletes who go broke and the athletes who make these dumb moves or what have you.
Oh,
but
Shaq gets money.
Shaq gets money. And when you look at the stuff he does on the side or whatever, Shaq is becoming a mini mogul on the low. Like, he's doing it on the low. Like, you know, 7-foot mogul. You can see too many now.
Shaq's dumbest moves were some of the movies he made, but he got paid from those too.
Yo, Shaq got more platinum albums than some of our favorite rappers.
Mm-hmm.
True.
All right, so yeah, you know, he put the kibosh on that.
Shaq Ice-T is weak though.
It is what it is.
Yo, if I see any man walking around drinking a can of Shaq, I'm gonna slander you forever. I would have never seen no man walking around like, yo, I'm drinking this Shaq. Like, no, you can't, B. No grown man should walk around drinking Shaq. Anyway, man,
Atlanta.
Let me give some quick.
While you on the grind, man.
Let me give some quick birthday shout-outs real quick. Birthdays, as usual, brought to you by Dr. Monique Roll of Alexandria Podiatry Associates. For the best and comprehensive treatment of injuries to the foot, ankle, and lower extremities, visit Dr. Monique Roll of Alexandria Podiatry Associates. Serving patients in the D.C., Maryland, Virginia area and beyond, just visit alexandriapodiatry.org or call 703-379-0700. That number again is 703-379-0700. When you call, just make sure you tell them that War Room Sports sent you. Also, on Christmas Eve throughout the whole day of December 24th, we're going to have Dr. Monique Roll on our Facebook page all day. We're going to be doing a little thing called Ask the Doc. So when you see the post go up on our Facebook page, facebook.com/War Room Sports, you can ask the doc anything you want about foot injuries, you know, lower extremities, ankles, Achilles, hammer toes, stinky feet, whatever you want to ask about, you can ask about, and you can get yourself some free medical advice. You can't get free medical advice everywhere, so make sure you take advantage of that opportunity. That's December 24th. All day. I know we're going to be going probably from sometime late morning, maybe like 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. So all day you can ask the doc and get some of your questions answered before you actually have to visit a hospital and pay some money. All right, real quick, birthday shout-outs. Jimmy's Broncos ex-quarterback turns 39 today. Happy birthday shout-out to you, Jake Plummer.
Yay!
Hall of Fame defensive tackle Warren Sapp turns 41 today.
That's my birthday, yay!
Tom Gugliotta. They used to have a song about this dude, Tommy Gugliotta, former basketball player, originally for the Washington Bullets, turns 44 today. Arvydas Sabonis,
my birthday,
known to many as the greatest European player of all time, but he came to the NBA way too late when he had foam for knees. He turned 49.
Yo,
former
that's
Boston
a lie.
Celtics
There's no
great.
way he's 49, yo. He was like 45 when he was playing.
No, he just looked like it.
No,
he played
just
pro
moved
ball
like
from like
45.
12 years old over
there.
there. They played like pro ball from like 12 and on over there, so you know it may have looked that way. Boston Celtic great Frankenstein, the post move master Kevin McHale turns 56 today. What up, Coach McHale? And we want to give a peace shout out to the man who some of us think is the greatest defensive player of all time. If not, he's
all
top 2 or 3.
Not
the Minister of Defense, former Philadelphia Eagle, Super Bowl winner with the Green Bay Packers. He was born December 19th, 1961. He passed on December 26, 2004. Shout out to you, Reggie White. Rest in peace.
Reggie.
We'd like to give a nice big War Room salute to all of these gentlemen on their birthdays. Real quick, before we have Fred Perdue of HeavyInTheGames.com on, we're going to let you know how to get in touch with us, and then we're going to talk for a couple of minutes about Adrian Broner, and then we'll have Fred on. But look, you guys can check out our website. That's WarRoomSports.com. While you're there, don't be lazy. Sign up for the War Report. That's our weekly newsletter. Click on the Contact Us tab to send us a message about the company, the show, or to inquire about sponsorship and advertising opportunities so you can get your business on track with the War Room. For general inquiries, email us, info@WarRoomSports.com. While you're browsing the site, take your time. Click on the Memorabilia tab to buy War Room Sports merchandise. Click the Blog tab to read our latest sports articles in the All's Fair and Sports and War blog. Click the respective icons to like our Facebook page. That's where we get it in every day. Follow us on Twitter. Subscribe to our iTunes podcast. Download our free War Room Sports mobile app. You need to have that. Whoever you are, you need to have that. Even if you don't like sports, you need to have that. And to watch our videos at WarRoomSportsTV.com. Join the JW Philly Realty chat room right now during the show at BlogTalkRadio.com/The War Room. To enter the chat room, just sign up for a free profile on Blog Talk Radio. If you don't want to do that, just sign in through your Facebook or Twitter accounts. And while you're at it, click follow to get updates and reminders about the show. We'll be taking questions and reading posts from Facebook, Twitter, and the chat room during the show. To call in and speak with us, dial the Digital Extreme Tech hotline. That number is 323-410-0012. Press 1 when prompted. If you're already listening from your phone, just press 1 if you want to talk. Now, fellas, we're going to talk a little bit about what's up.
And I was going to say, it's funny, like you brought up Reggie White, and you know, I do think he's one of the top, at least 2 or 3 defensive players that ever played the game of football.
I know you got LT and then
LT and Reggie is at the top of the list. I don't know who else is 3. I don't know why I said that, but it's those 2. It's between them 2 is the best. But listen though, it's funny because it's been a lot of controversy today with the whole Duck Dynasty thing, and when you said Reggie White, that's the first thing I thought of. I said, man, if he was around now with the statements he made back then. Yo,
I know.
they'd have kicked his out the league.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
My man said Asians good at making watches and blacks good at going to church. Like he was going ballistic. He went on everybody, man.
Yeah, Red. I know what he was saying though, man.
All right.
He was going in on everybody, yo. Blame CTE. Anyway, man, so rest in peace, Reggie, man.
Yeah, we're going to get into some hot topics real quick because, like I said, we got Fred Perdue of Heavy in the Games waiting to give us a little bit of bowl game predictions. And then at about 6:45 Eastern time, of course, 6:50, we're going to have Jeff Thomas of Ranked Top 5 Sports Talk Radio in Chicago to come on and talk a little bit of Eagles-Bears in the Sunday night matchup this week. And we're going to make that wager that we made back in 2011, city to city, Philly versus Chicago. So if you're listening, make sure you stay tuned to hear that. But right now, Hot Topics are brought to you by...
You already know. Listen. Everybody knows this is again, I hate saying that, though, because I love all of our sponsors, man. But anyway, they're brought to you by Audible.
No, this your favorite.
No, I mean, it is what it is, man. Everybody got favorites, even children, although y'all hate to admit it. Some of y'all got favorite children. Austin, who's your favorite child? Don't answer. Anyway, your schedule is too hectic to read as much as you want.
My favorite child?
Don't put it on the air, good brother, because it's going to come back to bite you in the butt one day. Maybe not now, but one day. Anyway.
It's one of my sons I inherited from social media that I've taught.
Listen, try audiobooks if your schedule's too hectic to read because you can have someone read for you. I've been keeping everybody abreast of my reading of books. I'm up to 50 books read in the year of 2013 with 2 weeks left. So it looks like I'll hit my goal of 52 for the year. Right now on Audible, I'm listening to a book called Buck. It's a memoir of M.K. Asante. It's a dope book by a gentleman, professor who's from Philadelphia. So that's what I'm listening to right now on Audible. I got some more reviews coming, too, because everybody knows I put the reviews in our blog. I got the Phil Jackson review up there, the Mike Tyson book, so I got the Shaq and the Dr. J. Jones coming soon. But anyway, Audible, if you want to try audiobooks, because everybody thinks that an audiobook is difficult to listen to, but the thing about it is they get actors to do the reading, right? So it's sort of like if you get a good actor to do the reading, it's like watching a movie, believe it or not. And you can try it for free, audibletrial.com/warroomsports. So just go ahead and try it for free. If you don't like it, you can keep the book anyway. And, you know, if you do like it, continue on with your plan. But audibletrial.com/warroomsports. Let's talk about some hot topics, good brother.
All right. I know you guys caught the Adrian Broner Maidana fight on Saturday. It had the internet on fire. The guy that we always, you know, talk about of trying to be Floyd without really putting in that Floyd work, he finally got what was coming to him. And, you know, he lost a unanimous decision to Maidana. Yeah, like B. Austin said, it was unanimous, and it was fair because he got his ass whooped the whole fight. Some of the things I wanted to point out real quick because, you know, like I said, we got to get to some of our homies. The pre-fight intros. Did you guys peep what was going on? I mean, this is nothing surprising because it's Adrian Broner, and this is what he does. Of course, he came out, you know, with a rapper. He jumped in the camera all the way from the locker room, from the back to the ring. He jumped up in the camera, shucking and jiving, as B. Austin would say. But the worst part about it is once they got into the ring, he ran around the ring, went over, jumped in Maidana's face a couple of times, and then once they were doing the actual pre-fight intros when everybody's supposed to be standing on their side of the ring, he goes around everybody in the middle of the ring to go stand in this man's face and shuck and jive some more. All Maidana could do was smile at that time, and after the fight, like, because I've watched the fight 3 times by now because I can't front. I enjoyed it. After the fight, you know, of course, you rewind it and you go back to see everything that was going on pre-fight, and you just sit there like, yo, he got everything that he deserved. He got everything he deserved. But what did you guys think about the fight in general, like the technical aspect? Why did Maidana dominate this guy the way he did?
I would like to start off by reaching out to Chino Maidana, the Argentinian assassin, and on behalf of African-American people of this country and black people the world over, we thank you for what you did for us that night.
Not the protectionist.
Ending, and the black protectionist, and this is B. Austin speaking, this is not the position of War Room Sports, so this is my unique opinion. The protectionists are finding every way to protect this blackface Sambo dude by saying that Maidana somehow cheated. No, he didn't cheat. He whooped his ass, and I enjoyed every moment of it. Now to the technical part, what I noticed was that Adrian Broner is a phenomenal athlete, a phenomenal talent. He is not, however, on the level of a Floyd Mayweather, who is the perfect combination of athleticism, speed, technical prowess, and acumen, and intelligence. Now, some were probably listening to this like, B. Austin, you complimenting Floyd? Listen, within the squared circle, I recognize Floyd Mayweather as being one of the greatest. I don't like the fact that he's disrespectful, he coons, he shucks and jives, and I would love nothing more than to see someone stretch Floyd's boot. It just isn't going to happen because he's that good. Adrian Broner looks at Floyd Mayweather and takes all of the negatives and applies it to his life, mimicking everything. Now, I actually hold Floyd responsible for some of this ass-whooping that Adrian Broner took because Floyd could have taken this young man under his wing because Adrian Broner basically walks around with Floyd's manhood on the top of his head. Like, that's how he acts towards Floyd. So Floyd understanding that he doesn't have to bear the weight of his own schlong because Adrian Broner will hold it up and carry it for him, he could easily pat that little dude on the head and tell him to calm down and tell him to work harder and tell him to focus and tell him, when I go to the strip club, yeah, sometimes I take a shot, but for the most part that's cranberry juice and water in my glass. I don't smoke. I don't, get high. I don't do it. Adrian Broner takes the partying to another level. He doesn't take the training seriously. So he's taken his talent, and what he's done is he's made a mockery of the sport. He's made a mockery of black folks. He's made a mockery of himself. He made a mockery of his family's name, and he even has his dad walking around cooning with him, brushing his hair. Like, Yo, I know I was supposed to get to the technical aspect of the fight. I apologize. I just had a lot to get off my chest because I've been waiting a long time to see him get beat the F up. And so I was
but the thing is, I feel what you're saying, but even Floyd Mayweather's camp, you know, his dad and Roger, you know, they've been kind of coming at Broner's neck for a while now because they're saying, you know, he wants to be a Floyd clone, but, you know, it looks all pretty now, but we'll see what happens when somebody actually challenges you. You know, we'll see if that shoulder roll and all that stuff you're stealing from Floyd works then. And that I thought about that quote, or well, I was paraphrasing, but he said something along those lines. I thought about that, you know, while I was watching the fight because he definitely tries the whole shoulder roll, and usually it's successful. But this time, you know, Maidana kept catching him with these overhand, these looping right hands, and it just seemed like he couldn't get out of the way of that. Like Floyd.
Well, here's the thing.
And people has tried this over the years, but they can't get at him. Like he kept landing this punch.
Well, here's the thing. A couple things about B. Austin's speech he just gave. In terms of Adrian Broner and the Black Protectionist show, I don't even think it's Black Protectionist show. It's the World Star generation because most black people I talk to don't like Adrian Broner, but those people who wake up every morning and go to World Star Hip Hop, they're fans of Adrian Broner. So it's like a subset of Black Protectionists. I call them the World Star
I totally agree with you, Jimmy. I totally agree. But here's the thing: the racial divide exists nowhere else in boxing. In boxing, we see objectivity go out of the window. So that even the black folks that don't necessarily like this
black
dude,
man will beat this Mexican will beat this white guy. I mean, it is what it is.
So exactly. So even folks that don't necessarily support him or like him, when it comes down to it, they can't put the objectivity lens on and look at it as just two fighters. They're looking at it as a Hispanic.
That's if he'd have lost to a black man, that part wouldn't have been there. And I agree with that. I mean, especially when you consider that Santa Claus and Jesus both are white. But anyway, that's the first thing. In terms of him trying to be Floyd, here's the difference. The difference is, from a technical standpoint, Maidana rushed him. He hit him with the overhand right. When you rush Floyd, you can't really rush him because even inside, he beats you at boxing. He's that good. Guys have tried to rush Floyd and get up on him, make him fight on the inside. He's so nice that in the inside, he will dominate you there as well as from a distance. This is the first time that someone really put the pressure. Somebody really put the pressure on Broner, and when they put the pressure on him, his ability just wasn't there. He didn't have the ability to fight on the inside. He got hit with the overhand. His chin looked a little suspect. So, you know, Floyd, like Floyd always says, man, you got talent, and you got some stuff that's God-given. What's up?
Like you just said, one of the beauties of Floyd's style and technique is that he is probably the greatest counterpuncher the world has ever seen. So when you rush him, as you back up, he's just waiting for you to make the mistake that is inevitable. And when you make that mistake or you're out of position, that's when he beats you. Broner didn't counterpunch.
And also,
when Broner does counterpunch, it's just one punch. Like, he's not coming back at you with combinations. One thing, that I noticed, this wasn't that new. I've seen other fighters be really active with Broner and probably, if you're going on, like, punch stats, probably controlled the fight in that manner. Like the Paulie fight, Paulie Malignaggi. When he fought him, Paulie was the more active fighter. But that's the point. That's the point. Paulie was throwing cotton balls at him, whereas Maidana was throwing bombs at him, and he hurt him several times. Of course, he went down in the second, went down in the eighth. He was stumbled several other times in the fight. He just wasn't used to that kind of pressure with that kind of power behind the punches.
If you watch Broner throughout his career, he's at his best when he's able to get flat-footed, set, and load up. If he's not able to do that, he has problems. And here's a crazy part, and the last thing I want to say about this fight, which I find is very interesting. He is so over the top with his antics and his cooning that he kind of makes Floyd look humble in comparison. It's funny how Floyd has somehow found a way to Floyd has found a way to kind of like rebrand himself again, believe it or not. Now
and
people look at
Floyd
as being humble. Now when Floyd came out, he did like changed up a little bit. He still coons, but he is nowhere near what he used to be. But somehow, when Broner came up, as he's coming up the ranks and he's cooning out of control, he's making Floyd look humble by comparison. So he's actually helping Floyd's career, believe it or not.
No doubt. But the last thing I want to, because we got to move on, the last thing I want to ask you guys about this, since we talk about his antics, and they're so on display, especially in the YouTube generation. What do you guys think about him losing this fight and then just rolling out of the ring without an interview or anything like that? What do you think of that?
More indication of his lack of class being real. So even Floyd, I'll give him this. Floyd, at the end of a fight, isn't going to do that. He'll disrespect you all day long to get the ticket sales. But this guy literally, that was the worst part of this entire display, is after you get your ass whooped, you can't take it. Like the monster you created, you're not willing to stand in front of. You're not and as he rolled out and left the ring, the audience was they were irate. They were berating him. They were throwing drinks on him. You know, he really, I feel sad,
which was unnecessary,
in a sense, for the dude, because I think he wasn't prepared. He wasn't prepared for his own mortality. Like, now the dragon has been slayed. Now who are you?
But here's the thing, Joe. Here's the thing I thought of, right? Because I look at sports completely crazy. But I thought about this. I was sitting there watching it. I'm like, I think that Floyd, if he finishes undefeated, will have the same effect on the boxing game as Jordan did on basketball. Because now we expect our stars to do certain things because Mike did it. Now these boxers hang on the whole undefeated thing. But when you think about it coming up, the greatest boxers of all time all took a loss. And the reason they're considered champions, is because they got back in the ring and were willing to bounce back. They didn't let that define their entire career. They didn't lose once and just get knocked out for the rest of their career. They came back and tried to compete at a high level again.
And I'm glad you said that, Jimmy, because I think boxing, especially modern day boxing, is one of the most overreactive sports out there. Because how many times do we see a guy lose a fight and they just talk like his career is over from then? Like, I never understand that.
But that's what I'm saying, and I think that Floyd is going to have this effect because this guy come up obviously idolizing Floyd, so that 0 on his record meant so much to him. But that's not. It's funny when you look at boxers back in the day, the Ali, even the Mike Tysons, the George Foreman. These guys after they lost, they came back and fought, and they were champions for the rest of their life. When you see George Foreman, you call him champ. You don't have to hold a belt because he was a champion in the people's eyes because you came back.
Might have to take Iron Mike out of that.
People still call Mike champ to this day. They still call him champ.
That's because they're scared of
being.
He might get a belt after he lost, though. Go ahead.
Part of being a champion is your resiliency and your willingness to battle back, which is one of the things that I take away from Floyd, because though I can't take away his greatness, he has handpicked his situations and handpicked his fighters to preserve that 0. And so, as we look at
you opening a whole new can of worms, and we got 2 guests waiting. You done opened up a whole new can of worms. We'll get back to that.
I just want to make
probably when we got PJ and John Rhines in the building, maybe we can talk with the boxing.
Yeah, let me make one quick announcement real quick. Allen Iverson, right? This is breaking news. Not really breaking news, but Allen Iverson, who never tweets, he tweets maybe twice a year. He just put out a tweet out of the blue that says, "I hope my Dallas Cowboys win this weekend." And now Twitter is going crazy. AI is trending. Everybody's going at his neck. I don't know what happened to Bubachek and what made him say that, but he just broke Twitter.
All these years, I've never known that you were a Dallas Cowboys fan. F-U-A-I.
Yeah, just broke Twitter.
Real quick, because we definitely got Fred Perdue of Heavy in the Games on the line. He has 5 bowl games that he wants to predict. He's going to break down one of them, but, he's going to give you his predictions on the other 4. Fred, you there?
Hey, guys. How you doing?
What's going on, man? What's going on?
I'm good, guys. I'm good.
All right. What you got for us this week?
Well, bowl season just is about to start up on Saturday. Looking forward to just a lot of, at some points, meaningless bowl games for a lot of teams that are just 6-6 and just getting a consolation prize for finishing slightly above 500. But we have some slightly interesting games. Just for picks just for the quote unquote good games that they have right now. These are just the beginning of the bowl season tends to be pretty soft. It's a bit of a warm up. It just kind of gives everyone some kind of a football sense. You have Washington State going up against Colorado State. Give me Washington State. Also, you have Fresno State at USC, which I'll be talking about a little bit later. Give me for USC. I'll talk about that one in a bit. Buffalo going up against San Diego State. Give me San Diego State. And Tulane going up against UL Lafayette. Give me Tulane. With USC, Fresno State, I just see what I see from USC, although they've had 3 different head coaches in this last season, I really do see that this USC team has a lot of pieces on defense, and their defense looks pretty solid. They're very physical despite the small amount of numbers that they have. They're actually only playing with about 48 players, which is less than an NFL roster. And that really makes a difference with how you can practice, as well offensively and defensively. You can't run the ball like you want to. You can't act physical in practice and have that physical nature that you want to have. And also having 3 different head coaches also gives you 3 different philosophies. The players are going to have to get up for another coach that they particularly maybe not right now want. Coach Orgeron, again, was the fan favorite. He's the guy that he looks like us, he acts like us, he's just like us. He's not, he's the fan favorite coach. Steve Sarkisian, he's a former USC guy, but I think he's going to come in and infuse his team with some offensive talent. And as far as recruiting is concerned, I think he's going to bring some more a bit of an imagination to the offense, because the offense seemed kind of stagnant. It just didn't seem creative. It didn't seem really different. It just seemed like the old, we're just going to run downhill. We're not going to throw the ball much. We're just going to be physical. And when you don't have that dynamic to your game, you can't do that. On the other side of things, you have Derek Carr, brother of David Carr, coming in at the quarterback position for Fresno State. 48 touchdowns this season. The guy is going to possibly be a first-round pick this year. I compare him to Matthew Stafford. Not as tall, but I like what I see from him as well. Very strong arm. Can't wait to see what he does at the Senior Bowl. With that, you also have the leading receiver in the country in Devontae Adams, over 1,600 yards, 120 catches. That tandem is very, very good. This is the first time they've won a championship outright since 1989. The defense is solid, but I ultimately think USC will come through. Defensively, it's just too strong up front. And Clancy Pendergrass, former defensive coordinator for the Cardinals, but when they were in the Super Bowl, he brings a 3-4 defense that they somewhat call a 5-2. From everyone I've talked to, they put a little bit more beef out there to stop the run. And it's more of a 5-2 defense, and it really helps them out a lot more because that team does not play a lot of man-to-man coverage. They like to sit in a lot of zones and force the quarterbacks to hold on to the ball a little bit more. I like USC in this game. I really don't think it'll be a high-scoring game. I think I could see a score 21-17 in a game that comes down to.
Okay, that's what's up. You said, what was the score you just said?
21-17.
21-17?
21-17. All right, we're going to hold you to that. We're going to hold you to that. 21-17, man.
Hold them to an exact score, huh?
Man, you already know. Yeah, man. So anyway, that's what's going on this weekend. But my question is, are there bowl games like every weekend until we get to the big game? I mean, because, I have a problem with the way they do this, man.
Yes, they're actually going to be bowl games throughout for the next couple of weeks. They're basically spread out throughout up until January 6th, which is the date of the national championship game. There'll be games on Saturday. There'll be games on Mondays, Tuesdays. You can pretty much any any network, the 4 letters. We're not going to give them any great publications, but you can go to those and get your schedules. There are a lot of good games. There also are a lot of bad games. Just a lot of teams that are 6-6. But there also will be a lot of good games, such as Oregon, Texas, Baylor, UCF. One of my personal favorites, Miami and Louisville. I more than likely will be at that game. It's going to be.
I got Louisville.
But there will be a lot of good games, but a lot of games at the bottom early on are not that great, just to be honest.
Yeah. Well, Fred, before we get you out of here, I got to ask you a question real quick, man, because, you're a Patriots fan. They got a big game coming up against the Ravens, man. What's your prediction for that game?
Wow. I'm really not sure right now because simply Gronk, the little bit of time that he was on the team and playing and active, he changed the way the team actually played, especially in the red zone. And you could tell against the Dolphins, you could tell easily that was a different team, and he was the one X factor. I'm not too sure. I want to say there's a win coming, but I can't guarantee anything right now.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right,
man.
that's
So,
what's up, man. Thanks for coming in and letting us know what's going on. Yeah.
And Fred, by the way, everybody knows that Fred is one of the panelists on our Field Vision show, which is on WarRoomSportsTV.com. He'll be back with us next week, so we can talk some more football with you next week on Field Vision. And, as always, Thursdays you bring us college football content. So, Fred, tell everybody how they can reach you on Twitter.
You guys can reach me on Twitter at FPurdueSports or at Heavy in the Games, HeavyInDaGames.
All right, Fred, we appreciate that, man. Take it easy. We'll talk to you.
All right, guys.
Thanks, Fred.
All right.
All right. It's about that time, fellas. We did this 2 years ago, and I don't know if everybody saw the photos on Facebook, man. We had to send a nice little care package out to Chicago to the crew over at Ranked Top 5 Sports Talk Radio because our Eagles took that 30-24 loss on that Monday night back in November of 2011 to the Chicago Bears. These guys have a big matchup coming up this Sunday night. The game has actually been flexed in the Sunday night because both of these teams still have playoff implications on the line. So we're going to talk about it, and we're going to make another bet. And to do that, we got Jeff Thomas from Ranked Top 5 Sports Talk Radio in Chicago to talk a little bit of Bears-Eagles Sunday night with us. And then we're going to see what we're going to put on the line for this game. Jeff, are you in the building?
You know what? I think I need some mushrooms this time when you send it to the package. Make sure the mushrooms are in there this time. But, hey, man, what's going on, War Room? What's happening, man? How y'all feeling
today? What's going on, man? If the Eagles sell us out again, man, we make sure you got mushrooms on your steak this time, man.
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
Today's my birthday.
I need popcorn out there, man. So Nick Foles got to do his thing, man. I need some of that Garrett's, man.
I got to bench him. I had to bench it this weekend, man. I just can't take it if he goes bananas on the Chicago Bears defense, man. I just can't take it. But, today's my birthday, man. So I'm here with you guys in the War Room. This kind of caps off. I appreciate it, man. Caps off my evening.
All right, that's what's up, man.
All right, man. What y'all got? What's going on? Let's talk.
I know you like 20. You like 25, all right? So in Chicago, that's like being 80.
Hard life. She's keeping them running around out there.
Well, hey, man, Chief Keef, you know what? Hey, I don't even have any comments about that, man. That's a crazy situation. Young rappers.
Yeah,
Lil
man.
Durk, actually, Little Durk was the one that came out there with Barner, Adrian Barner. You guys were talking about the clown show. Yeah, that was Lil Durk.
He's part of the clown show, Lil Durk. And he's all part of the World Star generation, man. They all love Sosa. But here's the thing, man. you know, we all know Chicago's crazy, but the one thing you guys have right now is your Chicago Bears. I mean, you know, it's starting to play a little well. They got their quarterback back. So what you think? What you think about this week?
Wait, speaking of the quarterbacks real quick, Jeff, I'm sorry, Jimmy. Speaking of the quarterbacks real quick, let's get into that before we get into, you know, the actual game, because
yes, sir.
You know, your hand is, you're there. So your hand is right there on the pulse, your fingers on the pulse. We've been hearing, now before Cutler came back, we've been hearing that a lot of the sentiment in the city was to stick with McCown since he was kind of hot at the time. Now, is that true, or is that just national media getting it wrong? You know, how does the fans think about it? Did you guys want Cutler back in that lineup?
Well, you know what? You find mixed reviews. I mean, I'm one of the people that had that thought that you go with the hot hand, and a lot of fans from around the Chicagoland area felt the same way. You know, you go with the guy. I mean, this guy's only thrown like one interception in the last 5 games. He has a passer rating of 109.8. I mean, you go with the hot hand, and you have a great coach who can coach quarterbacks. So you kind of stay with that. And I think last week when Cutler got in the game against the Cleveland Browns, and he threw that interception, everybody was up in arms. I mean, you just saw it. They were exploding. It was a pick six. So, you know, you have some mixed reviews on that, but a lot of people want to stay with Josh McCown. I mean, it's just that's just how we want to do it here. You know, you go with the guy who has a hot hand.
How do you feel about Jay Cutler as a quarterback personally, JT? What's your opinion of Cutler?
Well, you know, my personal opinion of Jay Cutler, I don't like him as a quarterback moving forward in the future for the Chicago Bears. I just think he has underachieved as a quarterback. I mean, he's 30 years old. Will he ever reach his full potential? And I just don't see that. I don't see the Chicago Bears. Well, I see the Chicago Bears giving him the money that he's going to, you know, command, you know, with the marketplace. But I just don't – I'm not a big Jay Cutler fan. I don't think he's a very fan for
he's not a championship quarterback is basically what you want to say, right?
No. And one of the reasons I say that, if you can't stay healthy for an entire season, you can't help your team win. Now, just fortunately, Josh McCown is here, and he's getting some great coaching, so we're able to weather that storm. But a couple of years Smith as the coach, and he really wasn't into developing the quarterback. He was more defensive minded. Our team just kind of went to the wayside. But now, you know, with the quarterback the coach that we have that focuses on quarterbacks and offense. I mean, you're talking about the Bears are the number 2, you know, offensive highest scoring team in the NFL. Even with Jay Cutler at the helm, you know, you can't help but kind of go with it in a crazy sort of way, just hoping that Jay doesn't turn the ball over and lose a game for you. That's how I feel. Me personally, I don't like Jay Cutler, and I'm gonna tell you, and I had some inside information last year. Jay Cutler just did not put in the work that the other guys, like the Bradys and the Mannings, that extra work that's needed in order to make your team a success. And that's
he never has, though. I mean, that's what he does. That's kind of what he does. By the way, I'm not a Jay Cutler fan at all. That's why I asked you that question, because any opportunity that I get,
you wanted to lead him down that path.
Absolutely. Well, I didn't know he was going to say that. So now I don't have to slander Cutler because JT did it for me.
All right, well, everybody, we're talking with Jeff Thomas, ranked top 5 sports talk radio in Chicago, about the Bears-Eagles matchup this Sunday. We know we got some people holding on the line that still want to talk boxing. We're going to get right back to that, so be patient and bear with us. All right, so, yeah, more about this game, okay, because, you know, both of these teams, I don't know if you want to call them underachievers. I mean, the Eagles were 4-12 last season, so I don't know what the expectations were with I don't know what the expectations were coming into the season with the new coach, you know, from a lot of people nationally. But I'm just talking about as of late. You know, the Eagles were the hottest team in the league. You know, they lost to Minnesota, which everybody thought may have been a trap game. Now, over in the NFC North, you know, you had Aaron Rodgers out for a while. You have Chicago, who their identity has kind of changed because you guys used to be mostly defense, and, you were looking for some extra receivers and stuff. Now you got weapons everywhere. You got Brandon Marshall. You got Alshon Jeffrey. Of course, you got Forte in the backfield. You got 2 quarterbacks that may be able to get it done. What do you feel are the advantages that the Chicago Bears have in this game, facing this fast-paced offense of Chip Kelly and the Eagles?
Well, I think one of the things that the Chicago Bears can really do, and they've done well, is the time of possession. If they can hold on to that football and not allow the Eagles to be on the field and make it a track meet, I think that will be a huge advantage to the Chicago Bears. I mean, because let's face it, this is probably the worst Bears defense we've had ever. And definitely in my lifetime that I've seen from a Chicago Bears defense. But you have, Lance Briggs, Henry Melton, Peanut Tillman, Stephen Paya, DJ Williams, all those guys are out. You're talking about, 3 all-pro players. So, and plus no Brian Urlacher, of course, he's retired.
Right.
So, it makes this time of possession. The coach is going to have to be able to control the ball with Matt Forte. He's going to have to hit the tight ends on check downs. He's going to have to do a lot of different things. And Bush. Now, if Bush gets to rolling, it's over for the Eagles. I'm just going to say that.
Yeah, We're aware of that dude.
Yeah, if he's going downhill, it's a problem. So, I look at it from that standpoint. But if the Eagles now, I'll say this, if the Eagles get going, and that, it's a big game, it's Sunday night, and I have questions, and maybe you guys can answer this question, because Nick Foles, to me, this is a big game. This might be the biggest game, because you're talking about playoff implications are on the line right now. Can he handle that pressure on Sunday Night Football when everybody's watching?
Well, you know what? Being, Eagles fans, people who cover the Eagles, that's a difficult question to answer just because, Nick Foles is new to everybody. We haven't seen him in this position. He came in last season to basically finish out the season for a bad team. So there was no pressure. So, he played pretty well then. He's come in this season, and with the ship still afloat, he's kind of been on fire. But now we get to see, he struggled a little bit in the first half of the Minnesota game, but then got it rolling, ended up throwing for 400-plus yards, 3 touchdowns, and an interception. The Dallas game a few weeks back, maybe, 6 weeks back, was, the only time where we've really seen him this season go in the game and do absolutely nothing. And there's even, rumors going around then that, he may have had a groin injury that wasn't talked about too much. So that is a good question because a lot will hinge on whether or not he can handle that pressure. The only thing being, though, if the Cowboys win earlier in the day against Washington, then there really isn't any pressure because the Eagles wouldn't really – it wouldn't matter if they won or lost to the Chicago Bears. Now, Chip Kelly has said, because people ask him about resting players, he said there will be no resting no matter what the outcome of that first game is. So, it's going to be a game. They're going to play. It's going to be a war. We'll see how he calls it.
Well, we thank him for not doing us any favors. Let's tell you that.
Yeah,
definitely.
You guys did us a favor. We helped each other out the week before. You guys put one on Dallas. We beat Detroit. Helped you guys out in that race.
Yeah.
Now it's mano a mano. You got to help ourselves this week. So,
yeah, well, you know what? This should be, but before you move on, this should be interesting because you got Matt Forte and you got Shady McCoy. And that matchup right there, I think, will be the key to the game. That's going to determine the outcome. I just want to put that out there, but I think that's going to be key.
Well, I was telling Jimmy.
I'd like
to. Go ahead, Diaz.
I'd like to know where this cat Alshon Jeffrey came from. Where did he come from?
He is tough.
Well, you know what? He was good. He was a rook last year. So he made some good catches last year, but they said that he worked out during the off season. He really put the time in. And he always had talent coming out of South Carolina. And I can remember watching him playing against Yeah, I remember watching him against Nebraska in one of the bowl games last year. I mean, this guy was just ridiculous. I mean, he was off the chain in some of the catches that he was making. So, him with Brandon Marshall, that tandem right there, this is something new to Chicago. I'll just be honest with you guys. We're not used to seeing and having these type of weapons on the field at one time. That's why it's so important that Jay Cutler limit his turnovers, because you have guys who can go get the football. You have guys who can make plays. He just needs not to be the gunslinger and thinking he can throw between three defensive backs. Right. But he doesn't have to do that now because he doesn't have to force the ball.
Jeff, I was just telling Jimmy this last night when we were shooting our show, our webcast, Field Vision. I was telling Jimmy because he's obviously not a Jay Cutler fan, but there is that Jay Cutler that I'm afraid of. There's sometime once in a while Jay Cutler will come out there and play mistake free, and when he's on, he's a very scary quarterback.
That's right.
And I think one of the greatest examples of Jay Cutler being on is the last time he faced the Eagles on Monday night, 2 seasons ago.
Right.
That as a fan, that was one of the more frustrating games I had seen in a while because there was nothing we could do with that guy. Like, he was on fire on third down conversions, and every time we thought, the Eagles may have had a beat on the Bears, he made a play. So that's the guy that I hope doesn't show up. I'm hoping for the guy that Jimmy despises to show up this week.
Well, you know what? JT, even last week, he threw a touchdown pass that might have been the worst pass in the history of football, but you got guys that make plays.
That's right.
You got guys that go up and make plays, like you said.
But that's a part of the game. A part of the game is
that pass ain't a part of the game.
Understanding that you.
No, that pass ain't a part of the game, B. Austin. You ain't see that pass. That pass wasn't part of the game, yo.
He just threw that.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
He closed his eyes and threw it up.
It was underthrown by 90 yards.
You have guys,
I'll tell you this.
You have receivers, and you have to trust that they're going to make plays for you. And I think that, one of the things, I'm aware of Jay Cutler's weaknesses, and I hope that this week he is everything that Jimmy has ever thought about him. Not said, but thought. I hope that he's everything that Jimmy has ever thought about. But
I don't know. You might not want him to be all that.
I've defended, guys like Jay Cutler and Tony Romo within the context of the game because I think that they sometimes get an unfair rap, based on some of the other things that are going on around them in their team. Having had a quarterback for 10 years that specialized in checkdowns and specialized in listening to the earphone in his helmet and just running a play, being scared to really take the shot, I can appreciate a guy that will freelance from time to time, that will make a decision, that doesn't care about putting the ball in between three folks and will get it there and look at the sideline with a smirk and throw his middle finger up. So some of that I appreciate, but I do know that Jay Cutler can be cavalier with the ball, and I hope that he is cavalier going into this.
I don't know if we have the secondary to take advantage of his cavalierness. So.
Yeah. But you know what? I'll say this, and I've been doing some programming on a Chicago sports radio show here in Chicago on Monday mornings, and let me just say this: if Jay Cutler does anything to blow this football game, the calls that come into that station will be ridiculous. The tweets and Facebook messages that come in is just unbelievable. It creates a whole lot of work. So this should be interesting.
Can't be worse than what Schaub did.
All right, but look, before we make our little wager and get you out of here, give us your prediction for the game. What do you think the score will be of this game?
Well, I'm going to go 35-31 Chicago Bears. I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I just think the Bears are going to pull it out. I think a lot more is at stake for the Chicago Bears. I know there's a lot at stake for the Eagles, but I think here in Chicago, this Bears team is under a lot of pressure to win this football game and make it, it's just no doubt about it that Chicago wins it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just want to point something out. That is contradictory to how you said you would win the game in terms of ball control. So if you guys are putting up 35 points, that means you're playing to the Eagles' strength as opposed to getting that big back Bush to rock.
Well, at the same time, Bielsa, the Eagles' drive could be like a minute and a half. So they could control it and still put up a lot of points because they will have a lot of time to put up some points.
We can go 3 and out in 45 seconds.
We've done it quicker than that. I've seen it. But listen, all right, you heard it here first from JT of Ranked Top 5 Sports Talk Radio in Chicago. 35-31 Bears is his prediction. He said the Bears have a lot at stake. We know the Eagles have a lot at stake. What does Ranked Top 5 Sports Talk Radio and War Room Sports have at stake this year when these two teams face off? We said, we all some boys that like to eat. We know you guys in Chicago like to eat too. So it's up to you. If you want, if you want it to be the same thing, we send you a care package. Maybe throw some more stuff in there. Maybe some different things that was in there last time. We know the cheesesteaks are going to be a staple. I know you want that.
He said he want mushrooms this time, man. But we
throw in some mushrooms this time. Of course, like last time, the tasty cakes. That's a Philly thing.
Oh, no doubt.
Maybe a soft pretzel.
No doubt.
You went to college in Philly. You went to Temple.
I was about to say that. Let's preface this whole thing.
We throw some water ice in there, but that might not make it. That might not make it.
No, it may not make it. But I'll tell you this, and I wanted to preface this with the people out there in War Room Sports Nation, that I am a Temple University alumni, former Temple football player, played my ball at Temple, the whole 9 yards. So this makes this, and I got a lot of bets on the line. Believe me, people have been hitting me. JT, what you got? What you got on this game for Philly? So the Bears need to win this game. So be Austin. I don't care what the score. It could be 60-66 or whatever. The Bears need to win this game. I'm gonna have to pay out a whole lot. But no, here's what we got. We're gonna send you guys a big box of Garrett's popcorn.
Oh yeah,
need that. We're also going to
Chicago
send
mix.
you
Chicago mix.
Chicago mix.
There you go.
And we're also going to send you a deep dish pizza. So you guys let me know what toppings you want. We'll get that out there to you guys. So
all right, now how now they're shippable, right? Do they freeze them? How do they ship that? Okay. As long as they ship, I don't care how it comes. As long as they can. All right, so I love Chicago food. So the Eagles can't sell us out for a second year.
Absolutely.
I need that deep dish. We need to be divvying up some Garrett's popcorn. Greatest popcorn I've ever had in my life.
Little Dirks over there with you, but send us the food.
Well, there's the funny thing about Garrett's popcorn. So this should be very thing that's going on. So you guys, if the Eagles should win this football game, I'm probably out about 3 boxes of Garrett popcorn, 3 tin cans, and then a couple of deep dish pizzas. I'm going to be done if that happens.
That popcorn ain't cheap either.
No.
All right,
no. That's why.
There you have it. We make the wager. It's usually the same stuff every year because we're some greedy dudes, and it's always about food. So there you have it. If the Eagles lose this game again, we'll be sending JT and the gang over there, a couple of cheesesteaks, mushrooms this time because we didn't have mushrooms on them last time. He kindly posted the photo for everybody to see. At least everybody knows we're men of our word. We kept our word. He got the cheesesteaks, he got the tasty cake, he got the soft pretzels. We'll find some little knickknacks to throw in there. I mean, throw some peppermint patties.
Couple of cannolis, man. A couple of cannolis off the South Street.
All right, we'll hook it up, and we'll know you're up too. All right, man. It was good having you on. We'll reconvene after this game. We'll talk a little football, and we'll talk about, throwing you an address of where you need to send that stuff. So
go about it.
All right, man. Good to talk to you again. Before you go, let everybody know, where they can find you, where they can hear you.
You can follow us on Twitter at Ranked Top 5 Sports. You can also go to Facebook, Ranked Top 5 Sports Talk Radio. I have a slew of Facebook groups. We're doing a lot of market research, but we have that going. Also, tomorrow morning we'll be up the JT Love NFL report is back up because I've been working so much. I haven't really been able to get into it. So we'll be up at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. So make sure you tune in and check it out. I'll be talking mad trash tomorrow. So it's going down for sure.
Yeah, I mean, and let me know after the show how we usually do it. If you want a couple of us to call in and make the bet again for the Chicago fans, we can do that again. So we'll be talking to you a little bit later, and I would say good luck, but I can't. Good luck in everything else except for this game this week.
Tell Wana I said, never mind.
Tell yourself. Hey, man, no comment on that. Hey, y'all guys have a great one, man. Have a great week. See you next week.
All right, take it easy.
All right, man.
All right, that's Jeff Thomas, everybody from Rank Top 5 Sports Talk Radio in Chicago. We made that Eagles-Bears bet again. We'll see how that plays out this time. We've had people holding on the line since we've been talking about Adrian Broner. So we apologize to those people. We're going to try to get to a couple of those calls right now before we get into this football talk. We want to go to the Digital Extreme Technologies hotline. We're going to go to Al from Philly. He's been patiently waiting. Al, you on the line, buddy? What's up?
Hey, what's going on?
Chilling, man.
Hey,
Al, what's happening?
Jeff, what's up, baby?
Yo, what's up, man?
Hey, man.
The Chicago Bears fan. I should have got you on while we were talking. I should have let you represent with JT real quick, man. I didn't know you was on the line. I didn't know that was you. What's up? What's your prediction for the game?
Oh man, if Cutler plays, I don't know, man. It's up in the air. I'm scared.
Yo, my man, hold up. So you're a Bears fan and you're not a Cutler fan. Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, especially since McCown been playing, I hate Cutler.
Okay, my man.
McCown made him hate the dude. All right, but but remember, the last time they played Cutler, he did the Eagles in a little bit. But you rather see McCown out there this weekend.
Listen, I'm just really scared because you saw what he did against Cleveland. He come in again and throw a pick six.
Yeah, that's true. Like, cause I'm an Eagles fan, but I keep it 100 at all times. I don't think that the Eagles have the greatest team in the world right now, but I do think if Cutler was to throw some early picks against the Eagles, I think their offense might be able to take advantage of that in a way that Cleveland really couldn't. So yeah, if that happens, that could be recipe for disaster for the Bears.
Because the Eagles have weapons too.
Yeah.
And I think right now their defense is a little better than ours. So if they get on top,
secondary. Now, if Cutler's not in a giving mood, that secondary, it could be the downfall of the Birds this weekend. If Cutler's not in a giving mood, sometimes he'll throw it right to you and get your confidence up a little bit.
Both teams have two of the worst safeties ever.
Oh, you talking about Conti?
Yeah, Conti's a piece of trash, as is Chung. Chung for us.
Every time I look up, Conti's getting off the ground from getting trucked.
Or giving up a play. But hey, Chung, Chung is the same. He's a Chinese Jamaican playing safety in the NFL. Interesting tidbit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it'll be an interesting game though, man. But yeah, we got a couple of more calls on the line. Al, thanks for calling in, man. You told me you was gonna do that. Appreciate it, bro.
Oh yeah, Dad.
Al, thanks for the support, homie. We appreciate it. Take care.
Now it's gonna write his own rhymes, dog.
Yo! You trying to slander Nas on the way out, though?
No, he's off now. He's off the line. Yeah, remember we had that Facebook conversation when he was talking about.
I know. But he gonna try to drop that in on the way out, though.
I know. Yeah. He dropped that off on the way. The thing is, I'm such a big Nas fan, but sometimes, we talk about this all the time off air. Sometimes when you see Nas in an interview, he looks in no way as intelligent as he sounds in his songs. So it's like somebody says that, you get to thinking, man, that could be true. And if I ever found that out, I'll be so disappointed. But
but here's the thing, though, right?
Maybe he's one of those people that just shines at his art, and everywhere else he's kind of a kind of a
But
recipe.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I know a lot of artists who are only good at one thing and they can't communicate in any other way.
I guess
Jay-Z don't write his rhymes
too.
anyway. The thing about Jay-Z not writing his rhymes is we know he don't write his rhymes because he just
but Al, he not a Jay-Z
I'm
or
not
Nas person.
a Jay-Z fan.
No, because when we had that conversation, he was dissing both of them. Now I give him props for that because a lot of people can't do that. If they love one, then they hate the other one. He was dissing both of them.
I was just thinking out loud. Like at least with Nas, it could be speculation. With Jay-Z, it's no speculation though. Like we know he ain't writing it. I say FOH to both of them though. I just found it funny. Shout out to Al. I appreciate the call, man. But I just found it funny. You trying to send that dig on the way out, man. But
all right, well, let's go back to the digital. Let's go to my man, Naeem, out in B-Ball, of course, by way of Philly. What's going on now? I know you heard the bad news. I know you heard the bad news about your Lakers, first and foremost, man. I know you heard that.
Man, listen. I'm not even going to talk about them today. I'm not going to talk about them today because it's Purple and Gold Nation to the day I die. So I'm not going to talk about them. I'm going to talk about three things.
What's on your mind?
I think Reggie Bush faked his injury for playing in that snow. I don't think
he didn't want to play in that snow, huh?
But he's used to playing in the snow. He plays in the snow all the time.
No. He does.
He playing that softer snow, though. He playing that softer snow.
Yeah. Two, I don't know if y'all watched that sports thing on HBO about Trophy Kids.
No, I missed that.
Yo, I know what you're talking about. I know.
Listen, I was highly upset when they made that black man look very bad with his son. I was highly upset because he was trying to prepare his son for life. And they didn't touch the point when he said it shouldn't be no texting or phone calls allowed in the car or at the dinner table. He was trying to show that young man how to be a man to deal with society. Mm-hmm. If you didn't see it, watch it. And they played him very bad. Three is my man Bowman. Whew. Man.
Got touched.
Listen, I don't know what people think. I don't know. You can't be somebody else. You only be yourself. He made Floyd-style boxing look trash. Every time that rolls, he tried to roll, he just got a lump upside his head. I don't want to hear about that boy cheated. That boy whipped his ass like he stole something. Point blank.
But the ironic part about the whole cheating thing, Naeem, is that, the speculation was that they used smelling salts in the corner between the 11th and 12th rounds, which is illegal. And when you see the video, like, it could be possible because he reacted like someone who got smelling salts would react. You know how they put it to your face and you kind of turn away real quick? No, but what I was saying, if they did administer smelling salts, it was in reaction to Broner cheating at the end of that round. Broner hit Medina with the meanest combination Broner threw all night after the bell. So they probably figuring he hit him with a mean 2-punch combination after the bell, probably stunned him and dazed him more than he ever did in between the bells in the rounds. And they like, look, he cheating. We gotta do what we gotta do. Like we always quote on here from LaDainian Tomlinson.
If you ain't cheat, you ain't trying.
You ain't trying, exactly.
The funniest part
it seemed like it was in reaction.
The funniest part was in that when he was sitting, I think it was getting closer, like round 8 or 9, and his dad was like, he's like, I'm all right. His dad was like, no, you're not all right. You got to knock him out. You know what I mean? And he was sitting on the stool looking like dazed stupid.
I don't know. The funniest part to me might have been after that first knockdown when he got up and did the stanky leg for a minute before he got his dad.
Yeah,
well, he never recovered from that.
He had them Zab Judah noodle legs. Hold on, though, real quick. The one thing that none of us have mentioned this whole time, man, which has to be addressed is what's up with your man trying to dry hump his opponent, though?
Oh, yeah, that was, and I was about to say that, no homo, but Boo Boo, we know who Boo Boo is, we'll leave that alone. I thought about him when I saw that. Boo Boo with the Redskins, and Lamont, thank you. I don't know you well, brother Lamont, but thank you for putting that out, because I'm still stuck on that Boo Boo thing. But,
no. I said no Boo Boo.
No homo, but Boo Boo, that was a Boo Boo move. How you gonna hump somebody if you got knocked out? Like, really? I mean, this guy, I mean, I don't understand him. I mean, I'm glad it happened to him because
I didn't
he's
understand
not
their kind of. I didn't understand their kind of playing around with the humping, but I guess if you're gonna do that to a dude, I guess he got you back when he humped you back after he was beating you down, because he did it.
Yeah.
He humped the dude after a first round where he kind of got destroyed,
Exactly.
and then the dude after he pounded him for another 8 rounds, now he's humping on him. So I guess he lost both times, doing something that probably we shouldn't be watching in a fight. Anyway, I just didn't get that. Like where do you get that from?
Not even not even in a fight, but not in the streets, not in life. Period. You don't do that. That's man code violation 101.
Is on the self-block. Hey.
You know, it's like, but I mean, Bonner, he had this coming because before the fight, he had the thing when he did the prosthetic legs. He was joking that. He's taking everything Floyd's doing the opposite way. Like, I think one of y'all said, Floyd, if I'm not mistaken, he don't drink. He don't drink or smoke. Floyd might go to the strip club and sit there till 2 o'clock in the morning and then go out and run 8 miles. His training ethic is different from your average boxer. He really puts in the work.
Floyd puts on a persona that these young guys want to copy, but they're copying the part that's not even real. You know, like
he don't do all that stuff.
Floyd is a marketing genius. How about that?
Right. They copy the parts of Floyd. They copy the parts of him that aren't even real.
It's not easy to get up at 3 a.m. and run 8 miles. They ain't copying that because that's too hard. That's why.
No, they hung over. He don't go out to them. When he don't drink or smoke.
Not at all. I mean, Broner has done some things, like I was saying, Broner has took it so far that he's making Floyd look humble by comparison. Dude be on Instagram like just cutting up on guys. I mean, he posted a picture one time of 2 chicks giving him dome. And neither one of them was his chick. And that's the crazy part.
Yeah. I mean, I was watching something on Twitter. But I know one thing, like that thing I posted, like Kevin Hart said, no. Yeah, I guarantee his Twitter page is quiet now. Extra quiet.
I want to see.
I'm going to go check it out to see when the last time he tweeted. Because we didn't get to hear him. We didn't get to hear from him after the fight, so I am curious.
Oh yeah,
what he was.
It's an interview. It's an interview.
Well, he did send that one. He did send that tweet out. I thought I sent it to you there, but it didn't make any sense. I think he was kind of punch drunk. He was like something like, "I can't wait for the rematch. It's time to turn up." But he felt turn up wrong.
If you can look at James Rice's page. He has an interview after the fight that Broner did. He can't even talk right. He still punch drunk from that dude. That dude really beat him down like he stole something. He got
because he hasn't even been in the game long enough to just be punch drunk. It had to be an effect from this fight.
And I think B. Austin said it, and I'm about to get off. Like, okay, Floyd has handpicked his fights after the Haddon fight. After the Haddon fight, like before the Haddon fight, he fought everybody, but now he's handpicking them, and I really think, and I do believe he's going to finish the only boxer I think undefeated. I don't see anybody else who's going to be worth a challenge for him to fight. But
the only modern day boxer.
But you know what,
nobody left.
The only modern day boxer that'll be undefeated. Cause
I mean, you can talk about the other boy that they always bring up, the Italian guy. But here's my thing though. They're going to hold that against him. Like, it's crazy. When you talk boxing, you start talking about, the history of the sweet science, and you look at all the pugilists of the past. Like I said earlier, it's always about how guys bounce back from losses. To never have done that, to never have been – Floyd really hasn't even been challenged in a fight. Like,
no. But that's
Broner's test, Jimmy.
No,
that's Broner's test because he can come back like a warrior, or he can go out like, Prince Nassim and just be done. But what Italian guy you talking about, Jimmy? What Italian guy you talking about?
Every time we talk about boxing.
Oh, you talking about Rocky Marciano?
You already.
Every time I start talking about boxing, a white man got to pull Rocky Marciano out there. That they won.
I'm going to say this about my Laker Nation. We're in a rebuilding process. We're going to be all right because we're in a rebuilding process. But this
What,
is
you
my
rebuilding his
prediction
knee?
Yeah, we're going to rebuild the team. But this is my
he said,
prediction.
"Are you rebuilding his knee?" You know, Kobe's out now for 6 weeks.
Oh yeah, but I don't think Kobe's really
knee?
hurt. I think Kobe needs to get in more shape. The turnovers, you know, I mean, he needed a preseason. I think he rushed it. But my prediction for the Western team, I really think the team to watch out for is the Portland Trail Blazers because that boy Lillard.
Lillard and LaMarcus Aldridge, tough.
And Aldridge.
All right,
they,
man.
They are,
as usual.
Tough team.
As usual, man. Thanks for your call. We appreciate it.
Yeah, all right.
Thanks for the
call. We rap to you next week, man. All right.
All right. Y'all take it easy.
All right, homie.
Cool.
I said boo-boo on the air.
Yo, the phone lines are blowing up tonight. Let's go. We gonna our football and basketball segment's gonna be short. We're gonna go out to California. We're gonna go out to Cali to the homie Rob, Eagles fan out in Cali. Rob, what's going on, bro? You're in the war room.
Yo, what's up, man? How y'all doing?
Pretty good. How you?
Good. Chilling, Rob.
What's your thoughts, man?
Last time I heard, also trying to pick a fight with light-skinned dudes, man. What's up with that?
He trying to pick a fight with somebody every week, man. Hey, but I know you heard the the homie we had on from Chicago talking that the Bears gonna beat us 35-31. What's your prediction on that game?
Man, let's be honest, man. When I lived in San Diego, I looked at Cutler. I didn't see anything special. He went to the Bears. I didn't see anything special. He's a young dude with a big mouth. I think the Eagles. It's gonna be two things. It's gonna be the defense, our defense. It's gonna be that. Do they have heart? That's it. Do they have heart? And I think it's gonna be 20-23 in overtime. We're gonna win.
Okay.
Hopefully so. Get this popcorn. You know what I mean? Get this popcorn.
Yo, I love Garrett's popcorn, man. That's the stuff.
No doubt. Hey, Rob, you out there in Cali, man. What they saying about Kobe out there, man?
Man, it's they just bashing the front office, man. It's like freaking Jim Buss is like the evil empire, like he's Darth Vader. He don't know what he's doing. He's destroying his own empire.
I told cats that a couple years ago. I gotta find an episode where I said Jim Buss is gonna be our problem. And cats just like, no, y'all the Lakers. I'm like, no, we the Lakers and the Jerry Buss. This is a whole different. You know what I mean?
When they traded Lamar and this
turned
is
him
a fact,
to crack.
and that's the reason why his marriage messed up. When they traded Lamar, I knew we was going nowhere. I knew it because they let the sixth man of the year go at that time, and it was just it didn't make any sense to me, dog. They were trying to trade away Gasol. Like my pops went around a week talking to me. You got 2 7-footers, and you trade for a 6-foot guy. Chris Paul is good, but 2 7-footers, man.
All right, but Lamar Odom, he's well documented. He's having a lot of problems right now. It may be a direct correlation to him leaving the Lakers because he seemed very, very, depressed when he left the Lakers.
Yeah.
But we got some advice for him.
Yeah,
and maybe he can make his comeback. We got some advice.
Stay away from the crack, which I think is pretty good advice, unless you can manage it socially.
Here's my question to you guys, right? If Kobe comes back in 6 weeks, 8 weeks, whatever it may be, is he going to get another return video, or are they done with that?
I don't know. They play this over. I don't know because this one's only 6 weeks.
That one for Lamar when he came back.
I don't know. He might get. He's Kobe. They might make a whole new video. Say he's back for real this time. That's gonna be the name of it. For real this time.
People were so riding on that like hype because he had Jody Meeks. He had all the players that the Sixers had. I'm like, these players are good role players, backup role players on other teams. They're not. Come on, man.
Yeah, you said Jody Meeks.
Is he?
I wouldn't even qualify Jody Meeks as a good role player.
Listen, man, cats don't understand, man. It's like, it's levels to this, man. Like, you got, listen, man, 16 ain't enough, man. How about that? Like, we got 16. We want to win championships, man. This is embarrassing out here, yo. We getting smashed by like that OKC game was embarrassing, yo.
I'm not watching no Clipper games, man. I don't respect the Clippers. I don't respect the because they don't respect the game of basketball that flopped. And I know Austin don't like, he want to, put hands on Blake Griffin. You know what I'm saying?
My fault, yo. You want to put hands on Blake. But yeah, no doubt.
Me and my man Zach Randolph, we're going to run it on him.
I think the Clippers should definitely be moved to a different city, man. You can't know L.A. Clippers, man. Can't be a second L.A. team, man.
Yo, at least a different building. Like, who made that deal for them to help share the building? Man. Now you got Doc Rivers in there complaining and, they got Laker jerseys and championship banners up while we playing.
All them cities in California, it can't be like all them cities in California, it can't be like the Petaluma Clippers or something like that. I mean,
or Rancho Cucamonga
Van Nuys, the Van Nuys Clippers.
They soft. They too soft, man. They too soft to win a championship. They too soft.
All right,
Rob.
Look, man.
Yeah, definitely. Give us a call next week, and hit us on the book. After that Eagles game, tell us what you think, man. Hopefully they get that win.
Hopefully, man.
All right, man. We holler at you next week.
All right, homie.
All
right. We got a couple topics in football that we could talk about. We don't have to talk about everything we were gonna get into.
No doubt.
Definitely. Let's talk a little bit. Jimmy, you tell everybody.
Let's jump into the NFL, yo.
Talk to us about. Yes, sir.
Absolutely. The NFL Wrap is brought to you by Stitcher Smart Radio. You can now hear our show, which is The War Room, this podcast right here on Stitcher Smart Radio. Listen, everybody has a smartphone. I just looked up the statistics. 70% of all cell phone purchases are smartphones. So with that being said, if you have an Android or iPhone, which are the two biggest ones, you can listen through the War Room app or just go to Stitcher. And what you do is, you get the Stitcher app, look up the War Room. And also when you sign up for Stitcher, make sure you use the War Room as your coupon code. Stitcher.com/the War Room. And then but if you have a BlackBerry or Palm phone, you still can listen to our podcast, but you probably should upgrade your phone or kill yourself. At any rate, Stitcher Radio is the smartest way to listen to radio. Gentlemen, the biggest news in the NIFL this past week has been the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, there's several ways we can tackle this topic, but I'm just going to say the Dallas Cowboys. You got the choking. You got Dez Bryant, leaving the field. Dez crying, as they say. Dez Bryant literally left the field. He was trying to beat his team to the locker room so he could sit there and do this.
When I'm alone in my room, sometimes I stare at the...
Yeah, so Dez Bryant, you soft, Duke. That's all I want to say. What do you think about this overall collapse? I mean, the coach throwing the quarterback. There's so many stories in this. That's why I said it's Dallas Cowboys, man. What you guys think about the Cowboys?
Wait, and because Dez went to his room and did that, he gets this.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
Oh, yes.
The way you carry yourself.
Absolutely. He was the JoJo of the Week award.
Honestly, I think that should be split between Dez and his quarterback.
No. As a matter of fact, you know what? We have to re-give that award. How can anybody get that award except for Adrian Broner? So going backwards, Adrian Broner should be ashamed of yourself. The way you carry yourself. There's so many JoJo nominees this week, man, but it has to go to Adrian Broner. But anyway, back to the Cowboys. What do you guys think about the Cowboys and Romo throwing his picks and all that nonsense going on over there?
I'm going to go back to my narrative, which I'm going to stick to until Jerry Jones either dies or quits. My man is really, really content. He's really content with mediocrity as long as it sells. Like this dude is fielding a team with Little Sisters of the Poor as his defense. And what I would consider as an above-average quarterback, but not someone that should shoulder the load of Peyton Manning or Tom Brady. Tony Romo just isn't built. So these situations, what can you say, man? What can you say?
Man,
you're up 26-3.
I'm a well-documented Tony Romo.
As am I. Tony Romo supporter, or not supporter, but defender at least to an extent. But you up 26-3. 26-3. And you stop running the ball. Jason Garrett, Tony Romo, you're calling pass plays. Yo, go ahead, Des.
Yeah, no, I was just pointing out that I'm a well-documented. I wasn't gonna say supporter. I'm a well-documented Tony Romo, probably apologist. Because I've always thought, and I maintain that he takes more of a bad rep than he actually earns, because what people fail to realize is that Tony Romo is a smaller part of a bigger machine. The whole Dallas Cowboys team, the whole Dallas Cowboys franchise are chokers. And, he seems to, by popular opinion, be the only one who gets that tag. Data and statistics show you that he's really not what most people think he is, but sometimes you can't go against the eye test. And, every time you do try to, say a positive word about this dude, because people are just piling on because he's the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. But then he goes out and does the kind of things he did in that fourth quarter against the Packers, and it just makes you throw in the white towel, throw up the white flag, do the Duran, no mas. Tony Romo, as far as I'm concerned, is on his own from now on. He's going to have to prove whatever he has to prove on his own. Now, that game, of course, Garrett, the whole, they just stopped running the ball. They were averaging about 7.5 yards a carry. They stopped running the ball all of a sudden. On the particular play where Tony Romo threw the really bad interception, Garrett told the world that Romo audibled into a pass. That was supposed to be a run. I think that was cowardly of him to throw his quarterback under the bus like that, because, on most other plays before that, when you were supposed to be running, you guys were passing the ball. So because he makes a mistake the one time he calls an audible to a pass, you feel like it's cool to throw him under the bus when you all were doing the wrong thing from jump. So I think that was terrible. The whole Dez Bryant thing, if y'all didn't notice, I'm just getting this all out of the way so y'all can just move on to, y'all can give y'all opinions after that. The Dez Bryant thing, I don't condone leaving the field. That's the part that, I can't fathom. The whole thing about him crying, I've seen people on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, everybody calling him all kinds of female dogs for crying, but I think fans have to make up their mind, because when athletes have the nonchalant attitude, we bitch and moan and complain that they don't care about the game enough. It's all about money to these guys. But when somebody shows emotion, then we have to call them all kinds of names and soft, and he shouldn't be playing football, this and that. But I think that's determined by whether you like a guy personally or not, because I've seen people like Ray Lewis, Allen Iverson, I've seen them guys cry on TV, and everybody talks about their passion. They're warriors, and that's their passion showing. But then when somebody like Dez Bryant or Kobe Bryant or T.O. or somebody like that shows their emotion, then they're all kinds of female dogs. So, it's a double.
It's not fair.
That's my thoughts on the Dallas Cowboys. They stink. Jerry stinks. And I hope they lose against the Washington team to make it a little easier on my team. Jimmy, what are your thoughts on this whole thing?
All right, here's my thoughts, right? In reference to Tony Romo, it's like, I know that he gets, bashed unfairly at times, but every time I seem to watch this gentleman, he does it time in and time out. And this part was just hilarious, because we were talking during the game, and you was like, yo, I need Tony Romo to do his Tony Romo impersonation. And what does he do? Right on cue, as if he heard us have this conversation, he throws 2 picks. And the thing about it is, sometimes you want to feel bad for him, but you are Dallas' quarterback, which means you're going to get it extra. But it also means
he really threw 3.
When you do well, though, they blow it out of proportion as well, because Troy Aikman is a little overrated, but that's a long story. We can get into that later. But I'm just saying, so when you do well, they pump you up, and when you do bad, they pour it on. That's just part of being, the quarterback of America's team. With that being said, now what the coach did, that was kind of like childish. I mean, Jerry Jones, Gerard goes out of his way to protect Tony Romo, even makes idiotic statements like moral win just to get the attention off of his quarterback from the last time he did this. And meanwhile, the coach is like, look, I ain't about that life. I ain't taking the blame. I'm putting you under the bus. I felt bad for DeMarco Murray, who was having like one of his best games of his career. Ock was killing him. He was getting like 6 yards of rip. Like, give me the ball. Like, he was 6. And they just stopped giving him the ball, which was like out of control. Des Bryant, you soft, Duke. Like, you got to get your emotions under control, man. As simple as that. The whole thing is a soap opera bill, but this is one team that I wish could have a reality show, because I would definitely watch their show. Because say what you want about the Cowboys, but they are entertaining. They may not be a good football team, but they're entertaining because their defense is so bad. And that's the thing. Because of all the miscues of Tony Romo, the coach and all that, and Des Bryant, the attention went away from the fact that their defense is terrible. That defense is just completely, it's terrible. They were running the same plays on them over and over again, like not even switching it. Like, we about to run here. It was like they were playing Tecmo Bowl. The Cowboys knew to play, got the rush off, but they had like Jerry Rice, like on the old Tecmo game when you couldn't stop him. But anyway, with that being said, Dallas is just a disgrace overall.
You are right though, Jim, because that defense is like juice. Like,
straight up,
like they're really on track
no one's
now
talking about
to be. They're on track to be like the worst passing defense of all time. I mean, and that record was just set last season by the New Orleans Saints. And of course, that whole statistic, it has its context because we're in a passing league now. So that record is probably going to get set year after year until defenses learn to slow this stuff down. But it's a shame, man.
No, but it's still saying something of all time. The Packers were literally running the same. When I say running the same plays, it was like they were doing it back to back, and there was nothing they could do about it. You see, they threw the ball. They threw the ball to Jordy Nelson in the one play who wasn't open, and he straight just took it from ball like, no, this is mine,
They probably went to the. They probably didn't even huddle. They just came out and they just called SOS. We used to do that in Little League. Coach said if we run a play and it's successful, and we call SOS, that means same old. You know what I mean? Do it again. They like, we just gonna do it till they can stop it, and they couldn't stop it. So
that's what she's supposed to do.
So we'll see. See what they do with the Washington football team this weekend. Hopefully, Washington can get a win for my sake. But
anyway, man, we ain't got that much time left. But if anybody wants to hear our thoughts on any of the football topics, go to WarRoomSportsTV.com. On our episode of Field Vision, we actually talked about that. I know that there was a big game in the NBA last night, so we definitely have to get you guys' opinion on that before we get off the show.
No doubt, and we are obligated to tell you guys, even if we're only going to talk about something for 2 minutes, we're obligated to tell you guys that for the best in your favorite team's merchandise and apparel, shop Fanatics. Shopping Fanatics is easy. Just go to our website, WarRoomSports.com, click on the Fanatics logo, go shopping. You get the best in the latest NFL, NBA, NHL, MLB, NCAA gear, and much more. Just go shopping. Make sure you do it from our page so they know, where that business is coming from. NBA, real quick before we talk about the big game that just went down in the NBA last night, we're going to talk a little bit, we're going to give a shout-out like we usually do for the NBA Players of the Week. And this week, those players are Kyrie Irving and, once again, LaMarcus Aldridge from the Portland Trail Blazers.
Once again, son.
Kyrie Irving and the Cavs went 2-1 last week. He averaged 29 points, 6.3 assists, 2.3 steals. He basically balled. And like Jimmy mentioned on Court Vision, our webcast on War Room Sports TV, usually at least one of the two NBA Players of the Week played the Knicks in that week to help them get that. And the Cavs played the Knicks. And against
that's like 4 weeks straight, and that's not exaggeration.
He had 37 points, 11 assists, and a 109-94 win against the New York
What
Knicks.
he did to Prigioni.
Yo, be Austin, this is literally not exaggeration. The last 4 weeks, the NBA Player of the Week has played the Knicks in that week. That's not even exaggeration, though.
I guess so. They got Mike Woodson on the sideline.
But yo, the big game,
he got some coaching problems there.
He definitely did. But the big game last night, though, what you guys think about the big game last night? Be Austin.
Well, let me give you L.A. I can't slight LaMarcus.
Okay, you can't do that. LaMarcus,
the Blazers went 4-0 because this is his second week in a row. They went 4-0. He averaged 25.5 points, 14.8 rebounds, 3.3 assists, 1.5 blocks. He is balling. That's 2 weeks in a row, and I think that's 3 weeks so far in the season. Okay, Pacers, Heat, round 2 in Miami. LeBron was supposedly a game-time decision because of his ankle. He played. Dwayne Wade played. Actually looked like Dwayne Wade a little bit last night. And the Heat were victorious in this one. So they take round 2. What are you guys' thoughts on this? Like, this matchup is one that we're going to watch because they're the only 2 teams in the Eastern Conference worth watching right now.
Turned it up.
They did. They played. It was more of they played Miami Heat basketball, and the Pacers didn't grind it out the way the first game is. Because the first game, you remember, they got out early and started running, and then my guy came in the huddle and changed things.
Wake up, Mr. West! Wake up, Mr. West!
Mr. West might have been responsible last night that terrible shot he took late in the game.
Yo, that shot he took was the worst shot in the history of basketball. But they were playing more of Miami Heat basketball. It's kind of like each of these teams have their style, and whoever style they play, that's who's going to win the game. And they fell into the trap of playing. They got out and started trying to run with them, and you can't do that. Miami got the calls that they were going to get.
I actually think that the Pacers still controlled this one. They fell apart late. They fell apart late, which a lot of good teams do against Miami in their last 2, title runs. A lot of teams handle their punch early, play with them throughout the game, but then things fall apart at the end of the game, and that's what it did for
word to the root.
Indiana. No doubt. That's what it did for Indiana last night.
But for me, the reason I say they played Miami Heat basketball is because this game, in comparison to the last game, the Heat got a lot of opportunities to run, to shoot the 3.
Hibbert was in foul trouble.
Yeah, Hibbert was definitely in foul trouble. But we also in the first game. In the first game, like we had mentioned before, the Heat got out and started running. And the reason we were joking about Mr. West being a difference is because they had called that timeout in the first game, and he made the speech to his team, and then they started slowing it down and grinding it out. He basically looked his team in the eyes and was like, "Yo."
About to witness the strength of street knowledge.
And that was the difference in the game right there. But this
Either
past
that
game,
he said, I'm going to whoop all y'all ass if you don't start playing.
Yeah, one or the other. But we know that this game they got to ran more. Yeah, and I just want to say,
I saw something different. There's definitely credence to what you brothers are saying. 2 things stuck out to me. Number one, I felt as though the Pacers' intensity wasn't where it was in Indiana, and that's going to be crucial for them because they're going to make a deep playoff run. And if they're going to play the Heat, they're going to have to come to play every single game. Every single game. This game, I'll give you an example. They started off with 7 turnovers. Now, it didn't show up big in terms of scoring, but you can't – I look at it as opportunity cost. If you're going to turn the ball over 7 times and be tied with the Heat, where would you be had you only had 2 turnovers or 1 turnover or no turnovers?
No doubt. But,
can't be that close.
No doubt. But we're up against it, so you guys know that it's time for us to get. So real quick before Jimmy takes us out of here, we just, want to give a shout-out to Damian Lillard, becoming a star right before our eyes. 2 game-winning shots in back-to-back games. Shout out to Pau Gasol for not being on the trading block anymore, probably because Kobe hurt his knee. Shout out to Mike Woodson, New York Knicks coach, for not knowing what he's doing on the sideline. Jimmy, you got it.
Yo, real quick, I want one. No analysis, just an answer. Right now, who you taking, Kevin Love or LaMarcus Aldridge?
Damn! I'm taking LaMarcus Aldridge just so black people won't get mad at me. Go ahead.
You already know, man. Thanks for joining us in the War Room, good people. A shout out to everybody in the chat room, Facebook, Twitter. We had a bunch of calls. Some we got to, some we couldn't. We apologize. Holler at us next week. Big thanks to Fred Perdue as usual, and also Jeff Thomas of Rank Top 5 Sports in Chicago for talking Eagles Bears with us. Tune in next week, same time, same place for some day after Christmas sports talk. That's right. We're on every Thursday. We miss no days off. We'll be talking more about the upcoming bowl games and college football. You don't want to miss that. So until then, enjoy your week, enjoy your Christmas if you celebrate that pagan holiday. Anyway, and we'll see you right back here next time. Catch all of our conversations online, Facebook.com/WarRoomSports, Twitter.com/WarRoomSports. And remember, all of our video content is at WarRoomSportsTV.com. Until next time, everybody, don't accept mediocrity. Be steadfast in the war against ignorance. In the words of B.I.G., we'll see you chumps on top.
Jesus is the reason for the season.
Jimmy, know the blueprint. Every Thursday, 6 to 8, they do this. Shout out to Dev, PJ, B. Austin, Doc Bay on replay. WarRoomSports.com. Get that mobile app. If not, dial 323-140012. They be going and you sensitive, then oh well. Physical podcast, let's talk sports. Showtime like magic in the block push. Listen live, push one to join in. Rip your team or listen for your enjoyment. Hip hop dollars, pit stop and knowledge. Should be in sports credits, I ain't talking college. 5 guys, no beef though. Corporate secret, but the streets know. Belafonte, I got a G flow. KC, royalty, I'm in beast mode. 2 hours, get your game up. Who's the best in sportscast? You better name us. War Room Sports. Yeah, you know, Jimmy, Dev, DJ, Doc Beck, B. Austin. I'm shot. Up and coming on the beat.
War Room Sports, www.warroomsports.com. What? Ain't no more to it.
Kuwait is the War Room with 5 nights at the round table. 5 Philly guys diversified and educated.